Welcome to Today in Canterbury, I'm Samuel Gibb. Changes to ACC rules around physiotherapy came into effect on Monday, and patients around town are putting off their appointments because of the increased cost. The move has had a big impact for physiotherapists around the country, with some practices recording a 50% downturn in customer numbers.
Well, a very significant difference. We were having quite full days prior to Monday, really from Monday through to today. There's been a substantial drop-off in attendance. People are cancelling, people just aren't booking in for further treatments, and it is obvious there's a financial barrier to them having access to physio treatment.
The change to the subsidies came into effect on Monday.
Well, really, there's only one basic change, and that is that they've reduced their fee that they pay us. Before, they fully subsidised our fee, and now they have diminished that or reduced that by about a third. And the only other consequence is that they have made it open to us to charge patients. So any shortfall, we are in a position now to be able to redeem that difference from our patients.
The move may have serious implications for physiotherapy practices.
Well, it's a substantial reduction in business. It also means that those people that should be really getting physio are thinking twice about it. They are prepared to put up with their injuries and just let the due course of time hopefully take care of it. This may be a good strategy, or it might not. It may have consequences further down the line, both in terms of their pain and suffering and cost to the country in terms of treating more chronic injuries or more well-established injuries.
The Canterbury Private Physiotherapist Association have placed ads in local papers explaining the changes.
Just to educate the general public on the fact that physio is still available, that you're not covering the full cost of physio, that ACC still cover most of the charge. There's going to be a part charge to the patient, that we can initiate ACC claims as per usual, and that you don't need to go to a GP in order to have a referral to physio. You can initiate the ACC claim at the physio practice.
Patients will be paying around $15 and $20 that ACC would normally have covered.
I think the ACC should acknowledge that funding good professional care for those injuries in the early stages will certainly shorten the likelihood or diminish the likelihood of injuries becoming chronic, extending out over long periods of time and becoming inconvenient to the patient. So good appropriate funding. I think it's good that maybe some of the patients should pay a small fee, but it shouldn't become a financial barrier to them, and ACC should meet that obligation.
The man who drove his car through the front doors of the IRD building in an apparent protest has been sentenced in the Christchurch District Court, according to the Christchurch Court News website. 48-year-old David Gerald Theobald was ordered to do 300 hours of community work and pay reparations totalling $13,000 to the owners of the building and the IRD. He was also disqualified from driving for 9 months. Theobald drove his car up onto the footpath outside the building at 6:30 in the morning on Saturday the 15th of August. After making sure no staff members were around, he then drove the vehicle through the plate glass doors, causing more than $40,000 worth of damage. Skateboarding is a sport that's growing in popularity here in Christchurch City, so much so that plans have been put in place to expand Washington Way Skate Park, but a few issues are stalling that process for now.
Washington Way Skate Park on Morehouse Avenue is a popular spot for skateboarders, BMXers and rollerbladers. And due to its popularity, the Hagley Ferrymead Community Board put forward a proposal to expand the park. But a decision on that proposal was last week put on hold by the Christchurch City Council until December.
At the December 10th meeting, Council will make the final decision about whether it goes ahead or not and any other things that they need to do to address the issues that have been raised.
And despite the council's decision last week, Yanni's still keen to see the wheels set in motion for the skate park's expansion.
It absolutely needs to be expanded, and I guess one of the sadness of this whole thing is that, 12 years ago when council first built the skate park, it was seen as such a success. It was such a good approach that council took. And as a city, I think many people are so proud that council actually built the skate park in this location. The number of people that use it is just absolutely fantastic. but it's never been finished.
Vandalism and crime in the area have been cited as two of the issues that have halted the park's expansion, but Yanni rejects that as a reason for not sticking to the original plans.
At the moment, there's a lot of dead space around here, and so the sooner we get that fixed, I think the sooner we're going to reduce some of the problems that are being alleged to have happened.
Another issue of contention surrounding the project is the cost, and just who will foot the bill.
Well, council have about $350,000 on budget currently to do stage 3, but that won't finish the skate park. What we need is about $1.2 million, and if we have that, then we'll be able to complete the whole thing. That would be, in an ideal world, that's what should happen, because as has been said, you know, the issues that are being raised, I think the best way to deal with that is to actually finish the skate park, get it complete. I'm hopeful that we can approach as a council, community trust, Lotteries Foundation, for example, lottery grants, to see if they can contribute to this project.
And Yanni, who has long been a campaigner for skateboarding facilities in the city, says he will look to his fellow councillors if no alternative means of funding is found.
This is a great project, and if you look at things like the money being spent on the rugby stadium, you know, $60 million on a rugby stadium, I think it's about $80 million on expanding the convention centre. To ask for $1 million extra to finish the skate park, to make it one of the best skate parks in New Zealand, is, I think, something that is well worth it.
So we may see more of this at Washington Way in the future.
The Cancer Society is calling for registrations for next year's Relay for Life, where teams take turns walking or running for 24 hours to honour and remember those touched by cancer.
It's an outdoor event, it's a fun event, but it primarily involves the Cancer Society, its volunteers and the community in raising funds and awareness of the Cancer Society's programs. It's been held next year on Saturday the 6th and Sunday the 7th of March at Canterbury Park, which is the AMP Association showgrounds on Curlitz Road, and it's an overnight event. It starts at midday. People set up a tent site, camp in the middle of that and walk around the track, and then for the next 24 hours are entertained, participate in activities, enjoy their fun and friendship of friends and families that are there. And there's some very special parts of Relay. They involve the Survivors Lap, which opens the event, and the candlelight ceremony, which is held as it gets dark to remember those people who are no longer with us.
Although the event doesn't take place until March, now is the time to get your team organised.
It's a community event, it's for everyone, and we're encouraging people to register teams from businesses, from family groups, from workplaces, from organisations, church groups, school teams, all sorts of people, because as I say, it's community, so we need a cross-section of ages of people participating.
It's the third time the event will be held in Christchurch, and although this year's event was hit by some bad weather, everyone involved made the weekend a success.
They certainly did. We were unfortunately affected by bad, heavy rain, but it's probably along the lines of a journey a cancer patient goes through, so they go through the good with the bad, and so the weather sort of represented that, I suppose. We did have cold rain, but this year or next year's event we're looking forward to having sunshine and having fine weather, but you're right, everyone still stayed, everyone had a good time, and they showed the determination that, you know, they were representing or raising funds for people living with cancer, and they wanted to be there to show their support whatever the weather.
The event is of huge importance for the Cancer Society, who provide a valuable service in our community.
The Cancer Society provides services to patients, so it might be support in the form of information via our 0800 information line, someone visiting their home to talk about services that might be able to be provided, volunteer drivers to drive patients to and from their appointments, also the accommodation that we provide for patients who have to travel from out of town to Christchurch at Davidson, and they stay at Davidson or Daffodil House. And in addition to that, of course, we fund cancer research and our programs of healthy living, so the Sun Smart accreditation in schools, smoke free, those sort of services on the other side from an education point of view.
We're about to take a quick break. We'll be back soon with your weather forecast for tomorrow.